ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the car restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Goat Locker Racing is back. 2026 is here, and we're smack in the middle of week 1 of the Save 22 spring season, bringing you all the action from race 1 of the Cruisin Classics Premier Next Gen Series right here, right now on V-Speed. For everyone here at V-Speed, I'm Jacob Blanke. Here alongside me in the booth is Ken Huber. We got Andy Smith on production, and the talented Dougie Beard providing tonight's cameras. Ken, a crew so nice we're doing it twice. How you feel?
Oh, I feel pretty good about this race here. It seems like we're just 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, we were together doing the Xfinity Series. I think we've been promoted. We got up in these next-gen cars. I'm really looking forward to some of the best drivers here in Goat Locker Racing putting on the show tonight here at Daytona.
Yes, indeed. The Premier Series is the best that Goat Locker has to offer, both tonight in the next gen and Friday in the trucks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the truck race myself. According to Jamie Marcus, I'm going to be in that race, so that'll be a lot of fun for me. But tonight we're doing next gen here at Daytona, and we were talking about it pre-race there, Jacob. They're running a pretty hot track tonight.
Yes, indeed. Back in 1953, a man named Bill France had an idea to build a track and get the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing off the white sands of Daytona Beach, Florida, and into the spotlight. In 1959, it came to fruition with a 2.5-mile tri-oval super speedway we now affectionately call the World Center of Racing. In 2016, the completion of the Daytona Rising Project gave a fresh coat of paint to the Daytona International Speedway, and just the same, we kick off our 15-race spring season in the most traditional of fashions.
Yeah, traditional is right, and it's going to be pretty nice watching these drivers get around this place here tonight for the first race of the season. As we look at the schedule, we're going to finish up here tonight at Daytona, and then we're going to move to the gambling area of Las Vegas, Nevada, and next week to watch these guys put on the show.
Yes, indeed. A lot of reminiscence of the actual Cup schedule reflected in our next-gen schedule this season, starting at Daytona, but ending where it always should have ended. Homestead Miami Speedway going to be going there May 6th for your season finale.
Yep, well, that's a few months away, so we might crown a new champion. So last season, I believe Jeremy Gardner won the championship here in the Next Gen Series. So I'm sure somebody wants to take that belt away from Jeremy this season. We'll see if anybody's got anything for him. And we're looking at all our drivers with onboard driver cams. There you can see, it looks like I'm looking at Cody. It's a little hard for me to see there, but Sammy Yosef there. Charles Abert is in there. Bobby Bender. So last night's broadcaster there, you see him there on the lower left-hand side. And it looks like Jake Ellingson down there in the middle and lower, and Jamie Lipke, you can see her over there on the right-hand lower corner of your screen.
Yes, indeed. Jake Ellingson always.
That was Cody Anderson, I believe, right? On the upper right.
Cody
I think
Anderson.
I missed his name.
Jake Ellingson, always a fan favorite camera to take a look at.
Especially when there's an incident.
All right. Since forming in 2013, JAM has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community, and JAM Printing and Promotions is the sponsor of the Pole Award for Goat Locker Racing, and tonight it goes to Travis Gilbert, a newcomer in the Next Gen Series. Lucas Lyons rolling off P2 to his outside. P3 is going to be the 36 machine of George Jewell. Ryan Pendleton, our last Super Speedway winner, rolling off in 4th. James Kaufman in the 25 rolls off P5. James Silvers, one of our competitors from last season, P6. Brian Provo in the P7 position. Barrett Morton in the 9 machine rolling off 8th. Cody Anderson in 9th. Noah Hogard, another rookie, going to be taking home the 10th spot.
Starting on P11, Jamie Lipke will start on the inside with Logan Threlkeld on her outside in the 30 machine. Starting in P13 will be Timothy Stubblefield, and on his outside he'll have Michael Koztek. In the 15th position will be Jacob Ellingson with Charles Abert on his outside in 16th. Timothy Wilms will start P17 with Bobby Bender starting on his outside in 18th. Chance Taylor will roll off on the field tonight in P19 with Ashton Asaro Nolan starting in 20th.
Good job. Samuel Joseph rolls off P21. Tyler Justice in 22nd. Daniel Cunningham rolls off P23. Claire Sisk in the 12th rolls off P24. Tyler Evans in the 77, P25. Alan Stafford, another newcomer, rolling off P26. Jeremy Gardner, your 2-time defending champion, rolling off in 27th position. Jason Taylor, the previous champion to that, in 28th. 29th is going to be Michael Jones, and number 30 is going to be the Sauce Boss, Logan Sturgeon.
In the 31st position, you have Douglas Macedo. And then on his outside, you'll have Michael Knights. We have Corin Smith starting in P33 with Wesley Burke on the outside in 34th. Jamie Barkus will start 35th, and Alex Cruz wraps out your 36-car field here tonight.
36 cars at Daytona. Can you think of a better way to start this one?
I can't, and you know it's going to be exciting. So 60 laps here. You know, I was looking at the field here. These guys can go about, I think, around 49 laps. So it'd definitely be a one-stop race if we stay green. And I think these drivers are talented enough to do it.
Yes, indeed. 60 laps. Pit road speed is 60 miles an hour. 4 tire sets available, 1 on the car, 3 in the pits, 2 green-white checkers, 100% fuel, the iRacing Fix setup, and contrary to some other sessions we've had in the past, 1 fast repair. So even if you get caught up in a wreck, you are not out of it.
Yeah, and you know, another fun thing about these tracks is, you know, everybody can run up front. You go to a lot of tracks, you have, you know, some guys that might not be as efficient at driving, but you come to a place like this, everybody can run up front. So you'll see guys that started all the way in the back tonight, work their way up to the front. We might be talking to them in victory lane here tonight.
Yes, indeed. We are watching as the pace car gets ready to cut these guys loose and get a good start on our season.
They're rounding the final corner here. You'll see that pace car duck into pit lane. Start-finish line is right at the tri-oval, unlike Talladega, which is further down the track. We'll see that pace car duck into pit lane here momentarily.
Yes, indeed. Pace car out of turn 4, the field close behind, cuts him loose through the extreme scoring restart zone, and we are rolling. Green flag in Daytona Beach.
And as expected, we are side by side. Travis Gilbert, Lucas Lyons leading this field into turn 1. Got the 16 right behind him, and George Jewell and Ryan Pendleton.
Lucas Lyons is taking a long lead up to that top line. He's got the 23 behind. Let's see if they can clear the car to the bottom and get organized into that bottom line.
Yeah, it looks like that 23 of Ryan Pendleton is trying to give Lucas a nice little push. We talked about it pre-race with the producer there in the booth, Eddie Smith, about breaking that bubble and getting on the back bumper and pushing that 41 ahead. You see Ryan trying to get that done, but the 44 down on the low line has got to run. That's Travis Gilbert getting some help with George Jewell just behind him. They're going to go side by side through the trioval.
The top 2 cars have lines at least 8 cars back further behind. 2 lanes dominant right now. Everybody's sitting sort of single file in each of their lines, but a little bit further back we got some breakaways, but we're keeping it civil so far.
Yeah, now you'll see these guys. Some guys will drop back and maybe wait for the big one and hope they don't get caught up in it. So you might be seeing some of these drivers back off. I'm looking back at the 14 is way off pace. Not sure what happened. That's Chance Taylor all the way in the back, last car in the field. He has lost that draft, and the leaders are going to be coming around in about probably 5 to 10 laps. We'll start lapping some of this traffic that has lost the lead draft.
Chance Taylor did end up starting the race from pit road. Got another jump out from the top there. Lucas Lyons taking that lap from Gilbert as the top line is starting to stretch a little bit. Maybe they choose to jump down in front here.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of ebb and flow between those 2 lines there. You can see now the 44 getting a little bit of an advantage down there. You can see these cars tuck back in on the low lane, trying to get a little bit of a push, breaking that bubble that we talked about. A little bit of bump drafting right there, but they'll have to back off as they get in the corners.
Taking a look at the 96 machine, that's Bobby Bender, maybe having a little bit of issues as well. Or he is definitely having some connection issues there. He is slow, and he is currently trying to make his way back up to the pit lane. Back up to the front battle here, yeah.
No, unfortunate for Bobby. So I think this was his career start here in the Next Gen Series. So Bobby having a tough night already with those connection issues. But that 41 of Lucas Lyons got a huge lead out over the second place of Ryan Pendleton. And the 3 cars up there, they're going to drop down low. Ryan Pendleton going to the inside.
James Silvers goes down behind him. That drops Lucas Lyons into the teammate of Bobby Bender. He's going to have a lot more of a reliable push, but to put the 23 on the point of this field.
Yeah, and you can see back there, Lucas gave up a little bit of time there. Got the 44 of Travis Gilbert there on the inside in that Valvoline machine. And then the 30 car just behind him, trying to get that bottom line rolling. But that 41, Lucas Lyons, strong. He's our pole sitter tonight, trying to get that 41 back up front with a little bit of help from his teammate Barrett Morton.
Yep, but right now Ryan Pendleton has control of this field. Got Silvers behind, Gilbert behind him. Ryan Pendleton won Talladega in the fall series, so he is no stranger to the super speedways. We see Silvers jump out a little bit there, maybe getting some air on that nose.
Yeah, that low line is starting to take off a little bit. You got about 4 cars up there that are really lined up there. Lucas Lyons there on the outside. You can see just pushing, and they got to be careful not to overheat these cars. So you get a nice push, but you got one eye out the windshield, one eye on the mirror, and one eye on that temperature gauge. But right now we got to run on the outside.
Travis Gilbert jumps out to the top and tries to take the point away from Ryan Pendleton. Top lane has a run. Gilbert gets pushed out, and we got caution on the racetrack. Jake Ellingson involved. That's the 24 machine. All torn up in the front end there. He's rolling through the grass, and we are under yellow for the first time this season.
Well, it's early in this race, and we do have that quick repair. So we talked about Jake Ellingson having that onboard camera. Not sure what happened there. We're going to go back and take a look at the replay here.
That'll be the 24 of Samuel Yosef we saw going through the grass there. William Byron inspired Old Dominion University paint. It looks like the 27 got loose, got into Jeremy Gardner. 24 got hung up, and a couple of other cars ended up getting contact in that as well. Was it a bad push, or did Jake just lose it off of the yellow here?
Yeah, it looks like it got, it got some help
checkup.
there. Yeah, there's a little bit of a checkup and got in the back and sent that car around. So a little bit of slight damage for a lot of these cars here as we're riding on board.
Yep, the SRP machine in front checks up Timothy Stubblefield on board with Jake Ellingson right now. Just couldn't get it wound up in time, and it was an accordion effect from then on.
Well, we managed to get a few laps in, so we got 7 laps in. These guys had that little bit of a mistake there. Luckily, they got the quick repair, so some of these drivers will be able to get that thing fixed, although I didn't see significant damage on any of those cars, Jacob.
Yep, the heaviest damaged one was the one that made the most contact, Jake Ellingson. Probably not too happy, but probably going to want to get some of that damage fixed without using his fast repair because he knows it'll be in the bank for later.
Yeah, and these cars will hold up in the draft with slight damage as long as it's not too heavy. And so you can hold up in the draft and save that quick repair for maybe the big one, because that wasn't quite the big one that we usually have here at Daytona. But we are talking about these professional drivers here in Goat Locker Racing.
Yes, indeed. And we wouldn't be able to show you these professional drivers without a little bit of help from our sponsors. How about you tell us about MK Fire Designs, Ken?
Well, I would love to talk about MK Fire Designs. MK Fire Design is at MK Fire Design, we believe in every hero story deserves to be etched in wood. From the thin red line to every branch of our military, we etch custom handcrafted flags that honor service, sacrifice, and pride. Honor your sacrifice today at mkfiredesigns.com. Every flag has a story. What's yours? And just another shout out to MK Fire Design. They came on last season on the GT3 series. It's great to have him on board. If you guys haven't seen his flags, he's also a firefighter. But if you haven't seen his flags, go check him out. Pretty awesome stuff. He does more than flags, too.
Yes, in the title sponsor of the Tuesday Multiclass Series. And as we were reading that ad for you there, about half the field came down and topped off on fuel. Lucas Lyons, an 18th on back, has taken a stop. So we might see a little bit of discrepancy a little bit further on in this stint here.
Yeah, and if we stay green flag racing, of course, that's going to create some drama where these guys sit out, It is a little bit of a risk, but I kind of like that move if you're already sitting a little bit further back in the field. Maybe top those cars off and maybe back off. Try to get into your own little draft rhythm with some guys that are back towards the back of the field, and maybe try to avoid a big incident, and then you'll have a little bit of extra fuel. Maybe you can stay out, or you'll have a quicker stop. Because one thing that they're not going to need is tires too much. So 60 laps. You really don't need any tires. Sometimes you might take 2 to just get a little bit of extra grip out there, but really you don't need tires. So these guys are looking at fuel, so that's going to make a shorter stop for those guys that topped off.
Yep, and bank with that fast repair. The only time I would take tires at any point on a super speedway is if I'm in a spin or locking them up trying to avoid a wreck. Travis Gilbert, our pole sitter, is going to inherit the lead once again, and everybody's going to be lining up 2 by 2 once we get past the start-finish line.
Yeah, we'll see. We got, like you said, Travis Gilbert, Ryan Pendleton, James Silver's back there in 3rd, Barrett Morton in 4th, George Jewell in 5th, Noah Hogard sitting back there in 6th, James Kaufman 7th, Logan Threlkeld out there in 8th, and then Cody Anderson in 9th, and Jamie Lipke rounding out your top 10.
Everybody lined up 2 by 2. And we got a really good crop of drivers in this next gen series. I was lucky enough to be a part of it last season. It didn't turn out too well for me. I think I got a single top 10 at Pocono when we ran. I had a good run going at Talladega, but it just didn't end up panning out.
When you're running with guys like this, Jacob, you just can't make mistakes, and you gotta. That's one of the things that. You're racing these top drivers. It's all about who can make the least. You got to be fast, but you also can't make any mistakes. So we seen a mistake here that brought out the caution, and that's clearly not what these guys want to see or what they're used to. But I'm sure we're going to get some green flag racing in.
Yes, indeed, and there's no better place to look for that green flag racing than the Premier Series. Gilbert opting to take the outside on this restart. Pendleton going to be starting from the inside lane.
Yeah, I kind of like that strategy, probably trying to team up. Those guys were pushing each other around. You kind of, at this point, if you don't have a teammate, you try to figure out who can run with you well and who's pushing you well. And sometimes you might choose the lane based on that. And that outside lane, to be honest, is where I want to be at these plate tracks. But, you know, as you get down to that pit window, if they continue to run side by side, you got to find that single file lane so you can get down to pit road.
Yep, but on the opposite end of that, if we do go green, outside lane is going to carry that momentum out of the corner exit, and I think that's what Gilbert's banking on when we get to the backstretch off of turns 1 and 2.
Well, we're certainly about to find out because that pace car is ducked onto pit lane.
Pace car is into the extreme scoring restart zone, and we are back green at Talladega. Gilbert getting a good jump on the restart.
Yeah, he's got to be careful with that, though, because you got the two cars down on the bottom hooked up right now. Looks like Ryan Pendleton and James Silvers are hooked up, and now the 9, Barrett Morton's going to jump to the inside and take that position away. Oh, 44 goes down and tags the 9. I don't know that Barrett thought he could get away with that, but that definitely cost him. Everybody's going down on the bottom.
I don't think Gilbert got the memo. He is dropping like a rock. Barrett Morton taking the lead of this race here in front of Ryan Pendleton.
Yeah, excuse me, Barrett Morton. So, yeah, called out the wrong guy, but we're still racing here. But that was a really sketchy move there, so we're lucky we didn't have another big incident there on the start of this race. We got about a 6 cars, all single file on the bottom. Seeing where all these guys are going to stack up. Now we got Jamie Lipke moving to the outside, trying to get that outside lane going.
Lipke moves to the outside in front of Cody Anderson, who previously inherited the lead of that outside lane. Anderson right on the back bumper of the 16, taking a look at the in-car camera there, and they're going to try and pull that lane all the way back to the front.
Watching right now, you can see Jamie up there getting a really good push from that 20 car up there on the outside. The inside lane has to check up a little bit, and they're going to gain a couple positions here as they come around. Jamie's got a little bit of momentum there, getting a really nice push from that 20 car at the moment.
Yep, side by side with Timothy Stubblefield, the 5 cars in front, Morton, Pendleton, Silvers, George Jewell, and James Kaufman all have a clear lane. If that top lane gets run, do you think somebody's going to jump out? Like, take a look. Timothy Stubblefield jumps up top. That gives Tyler Justice the spot, pulling up behind Kaufman.
Yeah, you see that outside lane coming, and a lot of those guys are looking for that, looking in their mirror, looking to see that outside lane coming so they can pull out to the outside and maybe make a run at the lead here. And that's what he did there. But so far, that outside lane really hasn't gained a lot of momentum. They seem very unorganized at the moment. You can see Jamie pushing really hard, but those cars aren't as tight as they need to be to get some speed there on the outside.
A lot of cars jumping up to the top lane. I think there's just a little too many cooks in the kitchen. Tyler Justice now inheriting the lead of that top lane, and they're dropping fast. Oh!
Yeah, that was another close call, that Valvoline machine. Going around now on the outside is Travis Gilbert trying to make up those positions he lost when he connected up with the 9 car. So now he's the lead car on the outside there, getting pushed by Tyler Justice at the moment. So those 2 cars are hooked up, and you can see Tyler Justice is all over the back bumper of that car trying to break that bumble, and they are making some gains at the moment.
Tyler Justice, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Always there in super speedways when you need a pusher, but he just can't find that one win that has evaded him ever since he's come into Goat Locker. He is going to be hot trying to get this one tonight.
Yeah, well, looking out the camera view there we have of Tyler Justice there, you can see he's backed off that 44 car just a little bit. The 44 car is running up because now he's got a car in front of him. That's the 30, I believe.
That's the 36 of George Jewell that
36,
jumped
yeah.
up on top. The 23 of Ryan Pendleton now taking the lead of that top line, leaving Barrett Morton down below to deal with the scraps.
Oh, now the 36 going down low, so give that position to George Jewell. He's making a run, but George Jewell doesn't have any help. He's going to have to wait for that 9 car to get back, Barrett Morton to get back to him. So that 23 is going to lead the lap. So Ryan Pendleton up front.
Justice jumps down in front of George Jewell. I think he's got a nose in there on Pendleton. He does. Just barely poking out to where Pendleton can't come down to him, and George Jewell is going to hook up with the back bumper of the 33.
Yeah, you can see George there gets a nice little bump there. Those 3 cars there on the bottom, Barrett Morton included, all 3 of those guys pushing each other, trying to get that inside lane now going because the outside lane is looking really strong. I was kind of surprised that actually worked for Tyler Justice because he had no help when he drove it down to the bottom.
Well, if there's one thing Tyler Justice knows, he knows how to push, and he knows how to control a super speedway lead as we got cars around. Michael Kostick further back. That is Doug Macedo, Alex Cruz, caution back out at Daytona.
Well, that's a tough break for those drivers. Well, it was getting really dicey up front, so you know some action was happening in the back. Looking there at Michael Kostick, getting that car recovered, that number 3 black machine there. Some other cars. We're going to go back and take a look.
Michael Kostick got the number 3 car down below. Doug Macedo just behind with the no number following him up. As I'm taking a look right now. Oh, whoa. It looked like a car just phased in from nowhere in front of him, and Macedo just didn't give Kostick the room because he didn't think he needed to.
Yeah, I don't think they thought they were 3 wide there. But clearly you see that car jump to Douglas Macedo, jump to the inside there and gets 3 wide. There just wasn't enough room there. I'm not sure if that was because there was a big checkup there as we're riding on board with Douglas Macedo. You come around the corner here. Oh, there's a car blinking up front. And so I think there's just gets it 3 wide in there and just, I don't think those drivers expected him to be there.
Those Ashton Nolan and the 21 blinking out the Busch car there. Macedo sent it middle because Kostick went down to the bottom, but then the 21 reappeared, and we got a couple of cars pretty torn up from this one.
Well, we'll see if we got any takers for pit lane here. We got maybe some fake outs there. We see the first car. Oh, second place is going in. So you can see that 44 there, Travis Gilbert leading them on to pit road to get some fuel in these cars and get back out there. So I don't believe these guys can make it yet. They haven't made it to the point where they're going to have to come in again, likely for fuel, unless we have more cautions.
If you're staying out, it's for track position. If you're coming in, it's just to get that little bit of fuel packed in there. You see Lucas Lyons in the 41 there. He is going to have a shorter stop than the cars in front there as he is going to pull out. He's barely going to get beat out by Travis Gilbert on the exit of pit road. What a drag race.
Travis Gilbert seems to be where all the action is tonight. So he's wearing the rear quarter panels out on that car. So that race off pit road, he was able to win. Lucas Lyons just behind him. But yeah, we're looking at that car right now. He's had some scrapes and woes there. Some of it from his own doing there, but car seems to be really aggressive out there.
A couple of drivers have taken their fast repairs. We had 3 cars stay out on that cycle. 23 Ryan Pendleton, 08 Brian Provo, 21 of Ashton Acero Nolan.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, where these drivers, you start back, Tyler Justice especially, he started in 22nd position. He's up there in 3rd. Or actually, he's in, Tyler Justice, where you at? Oh, he's in 7th right now. So he'd moved up, but he's dropped back after the pit stops. But this is what I was saying about where you can start anywhere at these plate tracks and work your way up front. And some of these guys are already doing that.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell you who benefited from that one the most. Chance Taylor, after that first caution, ended up coming back up toward the field. He's currently sitting 15th after starting in the pits.
Yeah, so he got lucky with that caution. So if we'd have stayed green, he would have already been a lap down and been fighting for a lucky dog at that point. So, that's one of the risk you take. But, it's not too big of a risk to maybe hope for a caution here at one of these plate tracks.
Yes, indeed. More cars pulling in to pack as much fuel in there as they possibly can as we get ready to line them back up. Let's take a look at another one of our sponsors. GTR Simulators, a leader in professional grade racing and flight simulators, delivers immersive, real world experiences trusted by racers, pilots, educators, and entertainment venues worldwide. From home setups to commercial and training solutions, GTR Simulator puts you in the driver's seat. There's a special discount for Goat Locker Racing in the shop tab at goatlockerracing.org.
Yeah, they've been a really good supporter of Goat Locker Racing. They've donated some of the sim rigs that you've seen, if not all of them, I believe. Yeah, been a big part of Goat Locker Racing, and we're glad to have them here on V Speed here right now. And some of these drivers are actually running that very same rig.
Yes, indeed. I'm taking a look, and I don't think we got any SimRig recipients here, but we do have one that we were able to help with the honorable recharge yonder years ago. That would be Charles Abert in the 7. He is currently running in P25. He ended up getting all new equipment from that, and it was well deserved.
Yeah, we've seen Swartzen out here. I think Swartzen must have had some technical difficulties. He was out here during practice, but didn't make the race, so dealing with some. But there you're looking at Charles Abert right now, one of the old-time sim recipients in that number 7 machine. So doing a fine job out there.
Yes, indeed. We are happy to have him on board in these cars. Got the series logo on his hood right behind the 57 of Jeremy Gardner. Pace car is going to be in this time, doubled up, going through the restart zone, and we are once again back green at Daytona.
Yeah, Ryan Pendleton gets a really big jump out there. The 21 kind of struggled there behind him, so that's Ashton Asaro Nolan out there getting a push right now by the 41 of Lucas Lyons. Lucas Lyons really putting the bumper to that car, pushing that 21 car all the way up front. Now Lucas is going to shoot for the lead.
I don't know about that. 21's been blinking pretty heavy all night. That outside line didn't get a good jump because of it. And it looks like Brian Provo is going to tuck in just behind the 23 of Pendleton. That inside line is going to start getting a good run here into the 3.
Man, I got to do something with my scoring. I don't believe why I'm giving Lucas Lyons a lot of credit. He doesn't deserve just yet. He might get it, but Ryan Pendleton currently leading this thing with Provo behind him. So they got that 3 car, got Ashton Astaro Nolan back there. 3 car trying to break away from this pack, but that ain't going to happen.
Lucas Lyons does lead that lap. He's got James Silvers behind, Tyler Justice in P3. Barrett Morton now tucked to the bottom. A little bit of bumper contact on the top line between Brian Provo and Ryan Pendleton.
Yeah, and look at that 44 back there. He's been involved in a lot of little scrapes and scuffles back there, looking for why, trying to help push that outside line. We'll see what he can do this time. There's Travis Gilbert back there, but you can see him right there, pushing the 3-car battle up on the top line, trying to get it up front again.
Yes, indeed. 5 cars once again. 6 cars with the addition of Michael Jones free of that top line. If the top line gets a run, they can jump up and try and collect some of that momentum. Michael Jones in the number 2 down below.
Now I believe we're at a point in the race, and we're watching the pushing in the corner. This is always what you got to really trust your draft mate here when you're pushing in the corner like that. But you can see that bubble is broken there, and they're trying to push that outside lane up front. And so far they're making a little bit of a gain, but now the leaders, Lucas Lyons, moved to the outside, going to stall that run up there.
Everybody in the top 5 sands. James Silvers dumps him out to the bottom. Lucas Lyons getting left out to dry by Tyler Justice and Barrett Morton.
Tyler Justice is one of those guys that you like, looking for that win, I guess, as you would say, Jacob, that first win. He's now leading that pack down there on the bottom in that yellow Camaro. But that outside lane is starting to look strong again. It looks like once they get these cars up to speed, the outside lane is where you want to be, at least at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Lucas Lyons getting that air off of the nose of Brian Pendleton. Brian Provo tucked up there with him, but Travis Gilbert's going to have something to say about that if he's given any opportunity.
Yeah, Ryan Pendleton giving Lucas Lyons a nice little shove there. But down there on the bottom, Ryan Pendleton coming around. He's got the 9 pushing him. That's Barrett Morton. So now the bottom line has got the advantage.
Save 22 to the point. Tyler Justice, if that top line doesn't get a run, is going to come around and lead this lap. Tyler Justice with Barrett Morton just behind, jumping up to the top lane. James Silver's taking the lead of that bottom lane once again.
Yeah, you can see a lot of pushing up top right. There's not a lot of help for the guy down on the bottom. James Silver's going to need that 2 there to get up. That's Michael Jones trying to get up and get that bottom lane push. But if they get a run, I imagine we'll see Tyler Justice again maybe shoot down to the bottom and try to block that move.
I wouldn't be too terribly surprised to see all 3 of those guys in the top lane, Tyler Justice, Barrett Morton, Lucas Lyons, all 3 of those Bandits cars stick together if they do manage to jump out front, but James Silvers is going to get a jump, and he is going to lead this lap.
Great job by Silvers there, but he's got a lot of help now. Those cars are nose to tail, at least at the moment. Got Michael Jones, gave him a nice little shove, but that said Michael Jones back a little bit. He's going to have to chase that 4 back down and get hooked up so these guys can run. Got Tyler Evans there, that 3rd car on the bottom lane.
Top lane better start finding some momentum soon. Maybe catch a side draft or something because they're losing cars fast. Gaps opening up on the bottom line. More and more cars abandoning the top to go run the bottom.
Yeah, and I think this is also an effect of the hot track tonight. So these cars are swirling around in this air with that hot track and the hot air, and these cars probably aren't as stable as these drivers would like, but we're here racing at Daytona in the heat, so that's what you got to expect.
Yes, indeed. Track is 10 degrees cooler than it was in practice. We were hitting 133 on the temperature gauges. Samuel Joseph jumps out to the lead of the top lane now in front of Tyler Justice.
We'll see if Joseph can get any help. Oh, no, they're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch. Joseph being sent to the back in that 24 car. You can see him going back. Nobody is willing to help him, so they're going by on the inside, on the outside, the 44. Now you can see Samuel Joseph is able to tuck down into the bottom lane and maybe try to gather it back up.
Find a gap anywhere you can to avoid what is affectionately called the sucker hole. It's just a void that you get pulled into if there's nobody behind. You saw the 44 get stuck in it a little further back, and he's going to start falling toward the back here soon as the top lane is running out of cars.
Yeah, no, they're filing it down on the bottom right now. The outside looks like I think it just became disassembled and unorganized. A bunch of new drivers racing with each other. And now you see Sammy Joseph going even further back. They're splitting him again. So nobody really giving Samuel any love out there. Of course, the 44 machine is going to come up there. Oh, we got a car in the wall. 9.
Barrett Morton gets loose, trying to give Tyler Justice a push as they jump to the outside. They're both going to lose momentum. Morton might have some damage on the right front of that machine.
Yeah, he was able to save it. We're going to go back and take a look and see what happened here. You can see that number 9 of Barrett Morton back there pushing the 33, and I think he just got unstable back there. You can see they go 3 wide. That's Sammy Joseph in the 24 car, and he's trying to figure out where he's going to go. And we talked about Sammy Joseph being in the sucker hole, but we come around the corner here. 44 is pushing him, and then nobody's there. I don't see the contact just yet, so I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, Morton had gotten into the wall by that point, and it looks like everybody's able to tuck back down in. Yep, he's got the air off of the 44, just throwing him around, and we got caution out on the super speedway.
Yeah, we
a
got
lot of cars slow. Yep, a lot of cars slow out of turn 3 and 4. That's Charles Ebert stopped on the infield.
Yeah, you can see the 24 there. That was the car we were just talking about. So some more trouble for that machine. So I'm not sure where this all started. We were watching that replay while all this transpired, but here it is. Oh, I'm not sure who that was, Jacob. So just ahead there, it looks like a car got spun and 24 had nowhere to go.
It looked like bad contact with the 20 of Cody Anderson. That's Cody Anderson, Samuel Joseph, Charles Abert. Yep, Cody Anderson was one of the last cars up top. Everybody else had settled down by that point. So we're taking a look at the 20 car right there. Look, like there was a big checkup from the bottom lane there. Lucas Lyons pushing the 20. 20 just couldn't hold on to it after the push in the corner. That's one of the things you got to look out for. Heavy contact for Daniel Cunningham as well.
Yeah, a lot of mangled race cars on this one. We're riding on board with Daniel Cunningham at the moment here. Well, during the replay here, you can see the smoke. Days of Thunder right there. Hit the throttle, but it doesn't work for him there. And Daniel hits, you can see Charles Abert and a couple other cars that he drives through there. But Daniel Cunningham's going to have to use that fast repair if he hasn't done so already.
Nowhere to go as everything cleared. He had already come up halfway up the track as Provo was coming up, and we got a lot of pit stops for damage, fuel, and otherwise, as we are going to hit halfway here soon.
Yeah, here's the point where we know all the drivers, at least that are headed to pit lane now, should be able to make it. Not sure about the guys that are still out there leading. James Silvers is leading this thing. I don't know when he last pitted. Just going back through my notes here.
James Silvers is on a 12-lap stint right now, so that would make it lap 18
I think,
of 30.
Yeah, I think he might be able to make it, so that might be why he stayed out.
A lot of these.
Well, that's why we're here. We're all going to find out together who's going to get this thing done. So, or he might be banking on the fact that there's going to be another caution. So,
I wouldn't bang on that too much. We've had some clean runs from the next gen series in particular, but we are on caution number 3 so far this evening. James Silvers, your leader, Michael Jones, Tyler Evans, Bobby Bender in his first start, as well as Doug Macedo rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, all these guys started mid-pack or further. So Bobby Bender started in 18th, and Tyler Evans in 25th, currently in 3rd. Michael Jones in 29th. These guys are running up. Douglas Macedo started in 31st. He's up to 6th. But no surprises. This is Daytona after all.
Yes, indeed. Anybody can win. Anybody can get in. And despite the most recent reveal from the NASCAR series with the point system being revamped into the chase again, I believe we are still win and you are in. So the winner of this race has a potential to lock up a spot in the playoffs for the end of the season.
Yeah, one of the rules here at Go Locker Racing, you have to compete at least 7 of the 50 or 7 of the regular series races, which I think is probably around 9 or 10 races. But you can't win and then take the rest of the season off until the playoffs. You actually have to be out here racing every week. So, and these guys actually want to be out racing, so that's what's cool. And it's going to be nice to see some new faces up there. And this is always one of those tracks where you always have maybe one of those drivers that might struggle winning at other places, but you get that win here, and like you said, you lock yourself into the chase, and then you can spend the rest of your season showing up for races and practicing for that very last race, or at least the playoff races.
Yes, indeed. 7 races minimum with 2 drop races in there, so you can miss 2 races and they won't count against your point total toward the end of this one. But if you miss that 3rd race, you may very well put yourself at a deficit if you were trying to get yourself locked into the playoffs.
Well, James Silvers has elected the outside line for this restart. He's going to have Michael Jones there on the inside in that 2 car. Tyler Evans going to start in that 3rd position, and Bobby Bender in 4th. Douglas Macedo will start in 5th. Jamie Lipke will restart in 6th. Logan Threlkeld P7. Travis Gilbert will start P8. Barrett Morton P9. And Jeremy Gardner, well, we haven't talked about him all night. He's going to wrap out your top 10 tonight.
Yes, indeed. You never want to count him out. Any race that he participates in, he always competes to the highest level. Put up, was it 6 wins last season?
Yeah, I don't know. He was in a few different series too, so if you count up all his wins for all the series, I'm sure he's got probably a dozen or so.
Well, pace car is getting ready to pull back into the pit lane once we get toward the entry there. James Silvers, your leader here at Daytona. We are going to be rolling off with just past halfway, getting into the extreme scoring restart zone, and we are back green at Daytona. Silvers gets a good jump, but I don't think the rest of the outside line did.
No, he's got a great jump there, and the 2 was hanging back. Michael Jones in the 2 down on the inside lane. Got Tyler Evans in the 77 car, was holding back there, but now all 3 of those guys are lined up behind James Silvers, so that bottom line is taking an early lead here on this restart.
Looks like it was the right calls. Bobby Bender is having a little bit of a rough start through 3 and 4, holding up that top line. Everybody down below getting hooked up and jumping out to a solid lead.
Yeah, you can see those cars are definitely nose to tail there, those top 3 or 4, trying to break that bubble and get those bumpers hooked up. That's how you're going to go fast here at Daytona. And if you can get a little bit of a gap and maybe escape all the drama that's happening all behind him. I'm watching Jamie Lipke back there on the outside line. She drives it down to the inside. She was trying to push that car. I believe that was Bobby Bender. Bobby Bender just doesn't seem to be getting that car going. And she gave up and drove it down to the bottom.
Bender is flailing right now. He's got a pole sitter right behind him, but not much other help. Jamie Lipke barely got down in front of Stubblefield to get into that inside lane and help stem the bleeding.
Yeah, you can see that 44 pushing really hard. Bobby Bender trying to get it, but everybody's diving down to the inside. They seem to like the inside at the moment. We're riding on board the 44 of Travis Gilbert there on the outside. You can see the sparks flying, but now they got a 3-car draft up top. As it looks like, I want to say that was Timothy Stubblefield that moved up to the outside.
Yep, Stubblefield in that red, white, and blue Ford Mustang in front of Bobby Bender, now trying to take the lead of that line and save what little momentum they may have left and try and pull them back to the front.
Yeah, I don't know. It's amazing how the dynamics change on this track, and it really, I think it really depends on what drivers are doing what out there. Sometimes you get different drivers, you get hooked up, and it feels really good to run with them, and then you get unfamiliar drivers. Oh, and they're going to triple as I was still watching those guys. Now we got, looks like the 41 up on the outside.
A little bit of shaking going on further back. Travis Gilbert in the 44 dropping back now, gets back up to the top lane. One car goes all the way to the bottom further back. That's Ashton Nolan. Brian Provo now tucking back into the top as we're going to go back to the replay on this one.
That 44 has been around all that, but that wasn't anything to do with the 44 that time.
Provo got up into the wall. It looked like Wilms and the 20 of Cody Anderson made some contact, and that forced Timothy Wilms to lose the draft here. As we're going to take a look back at our leader, James Silvers, still out in front of this pack.
Yeah, those guys, they got that bottom lane is really hooked up right now, especially those top 3 guys. You got Douglas Macedo sitting back there in 4th, just a little bit off, but I thought that outside lane was going to start running, but there was a little hiccup there from the 14 car of Chance Taylor. Chance Taylor is leading that outside line. Got the 57 of Jeremy Gardner. Now, if Jeremy Gardner's pushing you, you better be on your best behavior because he knows what he's doing out there. So Gardner is going to try to get that outside lane going, pushing that 14 up front of Chance Taylor.
Don't look now. Chance Taylor, Jeremy Gardner, George Jewell, Tyler Justice, 4 Save 22 cars all hooked up together. Those are all teammates trying to push their way to the front.
Yeah, and they are doing it right now. You can see that 14 is gaining spots almost up to the 5th position right now. Got the 30 car of Logan Threlkel down on his inside. Now they got another big run coming down the front stretch, headed to the tri-oval. Jeremy Gardner really pushing that 14 of Chance Taylor. They're going to be up front here in a minute. Big accident. Gardner pushes the 14 just a little too hard. Chance Taylor goes sideways, and it looks like they take out a few other cars. Wow, there's a big wreck. This is the big one.
Mass carnage, heavy contact off of Chance Taylor's initial wreck. Caution is out once again at Daytona, and that has taken out a lot of cars that already had their faster prepared.
Yeah, we're going to have a smaller field when this thing restarts, but you can see it here. We all seen it live there. Jeremy Gardner on the outside in that red and white car just behind Chance Taylor in the 14. And you can watch it here. Jeremy Gardner just hits it a little too hard on exit of the tri-oval there, and it sends that 14 to the inside and just gathers up a whole bunch of good race cars.
A bad push out of the tri-oval. Timothy Stubblefield, Jamie Limpke, Logan Threlkeld, Michael Jones, Tyler Justice, heavy contact. The 60 of one of our previous champions. That is Jason Taylor involved. On board with Jeremy Gardner here as we take a look at what caused this.
Yeah, they had a great push here on the outside. They were coming, and I figured they were going to be in the lead by the time they got to turn one. But here's the push right on the tri-oval, and that's where the car is really light on the rear end there when you exit the tri-oval, especially on old tires. Even though you don't really need tires, these tires are hot. The track is hot, and it is just a bad place to get that push there.
Just a bad bump. Jeremy Gardner's got to be beside himself right now because that was a teammate on the receiving end of that one.
Yeah, and you know, you're sitting there, and if you're the guy getting pushed too, you kind of don't expect it. You see Gardner's coming, and you know Gardner's a good driver, and you're watching the mirror, and he's like, okay, he's going to hit, and you're kind of prepared for it, but sometimes it just gets away from you.
Yes,
as we got pit stops occurring right now, a lot of these damaged race cars are going to get some fenders beat out or take their quick repair. But everybody obviously can make it to the end now at this point. We're going to have, looks like 24 laps to go, maybe 22 laps when we take the green flag.
Yes, indeed. These guys are going to take their damage, get their fast repairs, and I think we're going to go to a quick commercial break. How does that sound, Ken?
Sounds fine to me.
Understood. We'll be right back.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to the Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series. We're back here at Daytona under caution once again. We're going to be going back with, we've currently got 22 laps to go, 4 cautions to the night, 8 lead changes, and it has been an interesting one for sure. A lot of fast repairs used, a lot of cars torn up.
Yeah, a lot of good race cars torn up tonight. A little bit of an accident there. Lights are out on the pace car, though. These guys are going to restack. A lot of damage. Cars that have been repaired, taken their quick repair, gotten the fenders beat out. We're going to about close this thing out here in about 21 laps.
Yes, indeed. You want to know what all those guys on pit road have in common, Ken?
I think it has something to do with the equipment that they wear. They can grab those hammers and stuff with really fine equipment.
Yes, indeed. At Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. For superior comfort and serious protection, Glove Station.
Yeah, those gloves are getting a workout tonight on pit lane. A lot of damaged race cars. Also, those gloves protect you from the heat of those tires. And you know those tires are going to be super hot when they pull them off the race car with a track temperature of 122. It has cooled down. We moved the time an hour and a half later than it was at noon. So like you said there, Jacob, the track's cooled down about 10 degrees, but it's still pretty hot out there, especially after these cars been out on track.
Yes, indeed. Most everybody able to take their fast repair and get back going, get the fenders beat out, get the damage repaired. It looks like that may have been the one too many accidents for Jason Taylor and Michael Jones, because they are now currently both or multiple laps down.
Well, Gardner helping his teammate go to pit lane there with that accident there now is going to lead us back to the green flag with Lucas Lyons on his outside. So this is going to be exciting here, folks. This is a race you don't want to miss.
Pace car is in. Jeremy Gardner, your sitting champion, going to lead him back into the extreme scoring restart zone, and we are back green once again at Daytona.
Yeah, this is a much better start from our leaders. You can see Barrett Morton down there on the inside. Below, oh, he goes up behind Lucas Lyons, decides to hang out Jeremy Gardner to dry. Jeremy Gardner is going to go back into third. He's going to get hooked up with the 27 car of Jacob Ellingson. Now is going to try to push Gardner back up front.
Yep, our leaders swap and help as we got a car to the outside. We got 3 wide further back. Barrett Morton deciding to jump up and help his teammate in Lucas Lyons. Jake Ellingson jumping down to carry the 57 forward.
Yeah, Michael Kostek back there in the third car. He's 3 wide. Oh, now that we got another one behind him. That's the 4 car of James Silvers now, the guy in that unlucky spot, but they got that battle sorted out right now. Heck of a run. Oh, Jeremy Gardner to the inside. We're still green. Oh, he spun it on pit lane. You were right on board. No other cars involved. So I imagine that's going to be a black flag as well. I imagine that was speeding when he entered pit, or unsafe pit entry, as they say.
Side swiped off of the front, or off of turn 4 by the 9, it looked like, of Barrett Morton. We're going to take another look at this one. Presented by GTR Simulators. Jeremy Gardner leading the race at the time of the incident. Barrett Morton gives a push to Lucas Lyons up top, and it looks like there was an uneven push by Kaufman behind it, just sent him all the way inside.
The GTR move of the race right there. Gardner, though, he doesn't hit anything there, able to get that car back going. So you can see Gardner's back out on track. I don't see a black flag or anything, but you know he's probably a little bit hot under the collar right now. Now Gardner is going to need a caution, but the battle hasn't started. Barrett Morton is back up front on the outside. You see the 41 of Lucas Lyons pushing him. They're trying to keep that lead, but don't look now. You got James Kaufman down on the inside. He also wants that lead.
Oh, we are all sorts of squirrely further back. Chance Taylor, after taking his fast repair, coming back up. James Kaufman leading the inside lane and going to take that one to the point with Jacob Ellingson, I know his name, pushing him to the front.
Yeah, Ellingson has gotten himself up front here. Ellingson started in the 15th position. We haven't talked about him until recently with this restart after all the it's like, another big wreck.
Cody Anderson gets around. A lot of heavy contact with a lot of cars further back. Logan Sturgeon, Ryan Pendleton, Tyler Justice again. And we are under caution for the 5th time here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for these guys. We do not have unlimited quick repairs. We're going to go back and take another look at this.
Oh my goodness. What a race this has turned out to be. As we see, there's a little bit of nose damage on Wesley Burke there in front. Logan Sturgeon down on the bottom. It looked like Cody Anderson pushed up top to try and join that lane and didn't have enough room. Just backed it down too much and hooked it back into the bottom lane.
Yeah, you can see he got into the back of Jamie Lipke there, towards the apron there. Yeah, collects that car. Going backwards, no rollover there, riding on board with Anderson right now. You can see exactly what happened. Looking for that spot. I think you can see him trying to move up here right behind the 77, and it just just wasn't clear and sent a lot of cars around.
I'm going to check up from either Wesley Burke or Corinne Smith as we see a lot of cars torn up in this one. George Jewell was right behind that one. Anderson had enough room to go up top.
Yeah.
Got loose, gets up into Samuel Joseph, collects Timothy Wilms, collects Jamie Libke. That looks like, more heavy contact on some cars going by. And it is just a sheet metal fest into turn one.
Well, going back to what we seen with Jeremy Gardner with that push he gave on his teammate, this is the exact same spot where that 20 lost it. So that's why I was talking about the exit of the tri-oval, being out on here on these old tires. Rear end gets really light, and he tried to change lanes maybe a little too aggressively to get up there and just lost it back into that 20. So he was clear, just didn't have the tires to make it stick when he changed lanes.
And that did indeed help the 57 of Jeremy Gardner, because he had a black flag. He went and got that cleared after going back and doing the right thing after he came down the pit road unsafely, but that kept him on the lead lap, and he's going to be back in contention with this one.
Yeah, and 17 laps to go. Well, 15 when we take the green flag. That is a lot of time here at Daytona. So, nobody is out of this race yet unless they've used their quick repairs, and they've got a lot of damage. Actually, we got a few cars out of this thing. But right now, a lot of our lead contenders by no means are out of this thing. We're right on board with Jeremy Gardner. He's going to go in and get that car serviced once again and see what he's got for the final push here. It looks like he's going to take some tires. Get some fresh tires on that thing so he can maneuver, because he knows he's going to have to slice and dice to work his way back up front.
Get some tires, pack it full of fuel, get ready to go to the end here. We had a few cars that are either out and about or staying out up front that did not pit on the last few cautions. Barrett Morton, your leader, is currently on a 28-lap stint, only followed by Wesley Burke, Travis Gilbert, and Doug Macedo have run that long. Those guys are further back in the top 10.
Yeah, well, those guys have got the advantage of the caution laps of saving fuel. So while they've been out there running those caution laps, if we'd have stayed green, they probably would have had to make another stop, but they've probably been eyeing that fuel window and saying, yeah, another caution, I'm good to go. I think I can stay out and make it. Now, you always can't count out the green-white checkers, so if we have any incidents towards the end of this race, that could throw all that fuel mileage calculation stuff out the window.
You said the fuel mileage was going to be about 41 laps, right?
49, I think it was. 48 to 49 laps.
48 to 49. So theoretically, with 15 to go as we're on right now, with the cautions that we've had, Barrett Morton, having pitted before halfway, should be able to make it, right?
Should be able to. That's what I'm saying, especially with the cautions. That's going to kind of, they're watching those fuel gauges, and they got those cautions, and should be able to make it. So, of course, I'm not sitting in that car, and you never know. My fuel calculations could be way off. I'm way off on a lot of stuff, so don't listen to me for too much.
And you got the advantage of being able to punch in numbers on that calculator. He's just got to do the math in his head while trying to hold off the guys behind him trying to get the lead in this one.
It's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things about here at iRacing, you can have a teammate, you can have a spotter, and they can actually set up your fuel and things like that. iRacing does allow for live spotters, but mostly the drivers are out there. They have to do all this stuff on their own. They have to figure out their fuel, their tire strategy, when to come in, when not to come in. So not only do they have to drive the car, if you remember during COVID, Jacob, we were watching a lot of these professional race car drivers on iRacing, and they were actually racing iRacing with their real crew chiefs. And all the driver had to do was just listen to the crew chief, drive and listen to the crew chief. Didn't really have to put any other brain activity involved. But these drivers out here in iRacing and Goat Locker Racing especially, they have to think about this stuff. So it's not just about racing the car and going fast. There's a lot of other factors that these guys are thinking about while they're in the race car.
Yes, indeed. Calculating all those numbers, making sure that their driver is in the best position possible. The only thing I remember from the COVID year is that clip that went around of Denny Hamlin's daughter shutting his TV off and he took out the field.
Don't remember that one, but I've seen a few good ones myself. I seen something like that with the IndyCar series. Those guys were going nuts on that thing too. So, but it was pretty entertaining times. I'm glad those times are behind us. But Barrett Morton is going to lead us back to the green flag. He is going to have Lucas Lyons on his outside. And then behind them, you got James Kaufman running in P3. Michael Kostek running in 4th. Jacob Ellingson is in that 5th position. James Silver 6th. Travis Gilbert now back in 7th. Wesley Burke, another driver we haven't talked about, started in 34th. We'll restart this in P8.
Yes, indeed. Everybody's still back lined up 2 by 2. Pace car pulling off, and we're going to go back into the restart zone to get the green flag once again at Daytona. Barrett Morton off to a huge jump. Once they hit the stripe, Lyon's probably going to tuck in behind.
Yeah, now we're back to this disorganized start that we're seeing. That last restart, everybody was nose to tail, but this time Barrett Morton able to get a nice little jump there, jump in front of Lucas Lyons right now. Lucas Lyons running him down right to the back bumper. Lucas could have went to the inside, but he decided to stay on the outside and help that 9 car and push him along there on the outside.
The Bandits teammates up top. Meanwhile, Travis Gilbert making his way back up to the front. He's got Ellingson behind, but pushing James Kaufman up to the front on that bottom line.
Yeah, you can see, those cars almost get together there, but Kaufman now in the lead of this thing. 44 now pushing. That was our pole sitter. Oh, the 44 having a little bit of a connection issue. I haven't seen that 44 there. It's very dangerous right now. That 44 is blinking in and out there. He's back. He's gone. These drivers are about to see another caution.
Oh, that's bad. Kaufman getting pushed up to the front, just can't hold it without that car behind. On board with Corinne Smith jumping down to the inside lane as James Silvers now takes the lead of the inside line.
Yeah, the other thing that happens when that car's blinking in and out like that is that loses a draft too. So he isn't getting the push that he's thinking he's getting. The 44 now has jumped to the outside. So that is scary stuff out there with the 44 having that connection issue.
Has completely checked up that top lane. George Jewell forced to the middle with that run. Now 3 wide further back. Tyler Justice, George Jewell, and we got the 86. So Wilms up there now back from that recent caution as well.
So we're back to the double file racing here. You know we're going to see 3 wide here. We're coming down to almost 10 to go. Barrett Morton's leading on the outside, but not for long. Got the 4 car, James Silver.
No.
James Silvers is up front. The 44, the blinking machine is in the middle. I don't think anybody wants to have anything to do with them. Trying to get that 44 out of the way here, and but the 44 looks like that connection has cleaned up, and he needs to tell his wife to stop watching Netflix while he's racing.
Travis Gilbert has been given a black flag for poor connection, so he is going to have to find a way to drop to the back here to get himself onto pit road as the lines start to get back together. James Silver's out front, Corinne Smith pushing from behind.
Yeah, what a great race we're having here as we're closing out the first race of the season here. James Silver leading down on the inside, got Corinne Smith down there on the inside as well in that 10 machine, and then behind them, Jacob Ellingson, or James Kaufman, pushing a 3-car chain there.
Yes, indeed. James Kaufman, another one of the good runners at the super speedways. Wesley Burke further back, and the 77 of Tyler Evans. Meanwhile, Jake Ellingson taking the lead of that top lane with Barrett Morton pushing him from behind.
Yeah, Barrett Morton's really pushing Jacob Ellingson, trying to get that outside lane. I'm hearing some more stuff about guys trying to get in the lane. 44 is now on pit lane to serve that penalty, but I think he's got that connection cleaned up. But it looks like Jacob Ellingson lost that push from Barrett Morton to 41 of Lucas Lyons is going to jump up to the top line in front of Jacob Ellingson. Another
car from that top lane was given a black flag. Ashton DeSarah Nolan in the 21. We saw him blinking earlier. Ends up pulling to the inside to try and serve that black flag on the next time by. James Silver still leading the field. That top lane's going to have a lot to do to get back up into this.
Oh, there was a big checkup on the bottom there. A couple cars got shuffled back. The 14 got shuffled back. That was Chance Taylor. So did good heads-up driving, but I thought there was going to be a big wreck there. There is a wreck. Lucas Lyons
gets turned into by Doug Macedo off what looked like a bad push on the front stretch through the tri-oval with less than 10 to go. Caution is out once again in Daytona.
Taking another look at this. So, well, you can see things were heating up there. It was getting pretty crazy out there between connection issues and guys really pushing hard. You see these cars are really unstable tonight, and it looks like they just came together, really just had a hard time holding on to that car.
It looked like he got up to the back bumper of George Jewell, and that dirty air just sent him all sorts of sideways up into him.
Yeah, riding on board with Macedo. Yeah, there was a check up there, and sent that car to the outside. And he's down on the inside. You can see him sawing that wheel back and forth. So these cars are a bit unstable. Closes up on the back of Tyler Evans here, and you can see that car is it's dancing all over the place and just comes over and gets hooked into the wall there. By
the saving grace.
Go ahead.
That's Doug Macedo. The saving grace for all of this is that only those two were involved, so the rest of the field does still have a shot at this one.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I'm going to go back here and see how many positions there Jeremy Gardner made up. So he's sitting back there. He's still back there a ways. So if Jeremy Gardner's got anything, it looks like he's currently running in the 18th position. So you remember he had that black flag penalty after getting into his teammate and then out there leading and then spinning into pit road. So you can see that Save 22 machine back there. He's got 17 positions to work his way up front. That's last season's championship, or I believe you said last 2 seasons champion, sitting here looking to try to maybe get this first win of the season, but it's going to be a lot of work to do as we're closing in. We're going to restart this thing with about 4 to go.
Yes, indeed. It has been a nail-biter, this one. A lot of close contact, a lot of close running from the green flag laps that we have had. James Silver is still out in front of this one. Corinne Smith P2, James Kaufman P3, Wesley Burke, another newcomer, has made himself known in the Xfinity Series with 2 wins from out of nowhere in P4. Tyler Evans P5, George Jewell P6, Jacob Ellingson P7, Barrett Morton has been near the front almost all night in P8. Ryan Pendleton fighting his way back from that early crash in P9, and Chance Taylor in P10 after that crash that he had.
Well, a couple of cautions ago, one of our producers from yesterday, the GT3 series, or actually the sports car series, Bobby Bender. If you've seen him there on the outside, he was able to get his lap back, so put Bobby Bender back on the lead lap. So I'm sure he's happy he was able to get that lucky dog, and he might still have a shot at this thing. Although there are 26 cars on the lead lap currently, so still a lot of traffic he's going to have to get through as we're looking at his car go by, trying to catch up to the rear of the field here.
Yep, he's going to have to drop to the tail end of whoever is still running toward the end of this one.
Looking at James Silver is going to lead us back to the green flag. Look at that Corin Smith back there. Going to start in on the outside. Maybe it depends on which lane James Silvers takes, but I don't think it matters that much. I don't know the inside. Every time I think the inside's working, the outside starts working, and vice versa. So really hard to say, but James Kaufman back there, P3, Wesley Burke, like you mentioned. Really strong race car driver out there. We've seen that driver in the Xfinity Series really put on a clinic sometimes, so never want to count that driver out.
Yeah, one of the sim racing pride drivers alongside of Jamie Lipke and Claire Sisk. James Silver's opting for that outside line on the restart, wanting to take the momentum onto the backstretch once we get through turns 1 and 2.
The chat's in there saying, I fear this is never going to end. Well, it has to, folks, because I have a bedtime window I got to make. So it's going to have to end here within the next, well, green, white checkers. We'll see. We got 6 laps to go, I guess, when they take the green flag. And, with the potential of maybe another 6 laps, you never know. So, but I think these guys, this is where the pay window's open. They're going to have to get it done there, Jacob. And with just a few laps to go, it's anybody's ball game. So I imagine we're going to see some pretty aggressive stuff out there. Speaking of which, Ken, before we get too far into this one, who you got? Oh man, this is anybody's game. I don't know. It seems like it's always an underdog that wins at these plate tracks. So, boy, I don't know. I might go with Tyler Evans here. Just looking at started in 25th. So I'm going to do a long shot there with Tyler Evans in the 77.
Yep, Tyler Evans in the 77 is a solid choice. Give me my countryman from my adopted home, the 36 Fort Mackinac Chevrolet, just to his outside, George Jewell.
All right. So side by side, we're going to restart this thing. We're going to see which one of us can win the first race of the season as well.
Better late than never. Pace car is in to the pit lane here shortly. Yep, we're exiting turn 4 right here. James Silvers on the outside, Corinne Smith on the inside. Pace car is in. We're back up toward the tri-oval. Cars are going into the restart zone. Extreme scoring brings us back to green here at Daytona.
Yeah, James Silvers gets a great start there. Corin Smith there trying to... Oh, wow. Big check up there. So I don't know, the 4 just like stopped on the track and Corin gets into the back of them. And we are back under caution.
Yeah, we went yellow right after the green flag flew. So I think there might have been some hierarchical thing going on there with like the positioning or something to that regard.
Okay, that was race control throwing a caution, so I don't think these guys were gridded up properly, and that's probably why that happened. But man, when the caution comes out, you just can't slam on the brakes. You got to keep going, especially at these tracks. Oh, you can see everybody jumbling there in the back, trying to get everything sorted out there. But man, that was almost a huge mistake for our leader there, James Silvers. Just as soon as that caution came out, just got out of the gas. Corin Smith gets into the back of him, so that was very lucky that those 2 cars didn't cause a second incident out there.
Oh, my heart. You can't keep doing this, man. Oh, man. Well, that might put us to, depending on how many laps we take here, we may get to a natural green-white checkered going back green.
Yeah, I think we will, in fact. So we might have our first green-white checker. So that's lucky in a way because we can only do this twice, right? So if it would have happened a lap earlier, we'd been looking at an extra maybe caution. But well, like I said, these guys got to get it done, and this is the time to do it. But this had to do more with repositioning of everybody, and that's why we're under caution at the moment.
Everybody's getting around, trying to catch back the pace car after that last caution. James Silvers, I can imagine, is in that cockpit going, come on, we need to go. I need to win this race. Let me lock in real quick.
Well, at least our 2 drivers are still where they were when we picked them. So 5th and 6th, that's Tyler Evans and George Jewell back there. These guys are getting lined back behind the pace car here. So 4 laps to go when they cross the line. So this will be a green-white checker, it looks like. And so at least we're within the window of getting this thing finished. So if you folks remember, they only have to make it back to the white flag. Anything happens after the white flag flies, then this thing is official. We will not be doing another green-white checker attempt. But the question is, can we make it back to the white flag without another caution?
Just got word from race control. This will be a short caution. Going to have 3 to go at the line. Light is off on the pace car. James Silvers once again opting for that outside line.
Yep, Corin Smith will be there on the inside. James Kaufman in that yellow machine on the outside. Wesley Burke out there in the 04 will be on the inside. Tyler Evans and George Jewell, 5th and 6th respectively. Barrett Morton back there led a lot of this race. Back there in the 9 car is going to restart there in the 9th position. And Jacob Ellingson currently running 8th.
A lot of these drivers have been caught up in a lot of these accidents that we've seen so far. Highest up driver with a fast repair is Ryan Pendleton in 9th. A lot of the drivers currently sitting in that top 8 have not used their fast repair, so they've kept it clean. They kept it up front for a majority of this race.
You know, that's one of the things. There's a lot of strategy when you come to these plate tracks. Sometimes you might want to run in the back. Sometimes you run up front. And you just don't know where these things are going to take place. Sometimes they just go out, have fun. That's the best you can do. That's what these drivers are doing, out there having fun. But, you know, they take it very seriously here. They all want that crown here. This is one of the crown jewel races here at Go Locker Racing, being the Premier Series. So these guys are fighting very hard. They all want a shot at the title at the end of the season.
Yes, indeed. Winner take all, and what better way to lock yourself in than to get a win of the first race of the season. Pace car pulling them out of turn 4, going to pull them all the way back through the tri-oval. It goes into the pits. James Silvers once again going to lead them back to green with 3 to go as we are green at Daytona.
A great start by the top two there, but Corn a little slow off, a little slower than I expected there. The 0-4 now. Wesley Burke is going to challenge there on the outside, but the leader, James Silvers, goes to the inside. That's going to help the 10 of Corn Smith back there, and she's going to be able to run that 4 down. We'll see if they go to the outside. Nope, going to tuck in, but I would expect that 10 to get right up to the back bumper, but that 10 is holding back to just a little bit.
Top lane checking up. Wesley Burke getting a massive push for the top lane as he's got nose damage. That's not a car you want leading the line.
No, and I imagine the 36 there is going to want to get by. That's George Jewell there on the outside, pushing as hard as he can. That 4, you can see. Oh, no, the wreck.
Massive contact. We got more cars around. 3 of Michael Kostick, Logan Sturgeon caught up, and there's another big one here at Daytona.
Wow, these cars have looked unstable here tonight, and it kind of shows. Kind of wasn't expecting this tonight. It looks like they're dealing with a little bit of adversity. We're going to go back and take a look and see exactly what happened here.
It looked like it started a little further back. Logan Sturgeon getting unsettled by the 44, collecting Logan Thrillkill. Jeremy Gardner makes his way through that whole thing unscathed as the field is torn up behind him.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I could have sworn I seen that 57 there make it through that. And so Gardner moving himself up some positions now as we're riding on board with Gardner. We're going to see exactly the drama unfold here ahead of him. And I think he just pulls it down. Looks like, oh, yeah, he pulls it down to the apron here, almost down on pit lane through the grass. And the 20 was able to hang on to it and able to save that 57's that saved 22 machine. So Gardner's moved up probably 10 positions after that accident.
0 contact from that one. Taking a look at Logan Sturgeon, just gets a bad bump from the 44 there. 3 wide in the middle, Lions outside, Wilms inside. As they come back onto the front stretch, it looks like he just pulled down a little bit into Wilms, and that set off the powder keg. Thrillkill goes up into it. 44 involved, Michael Kostick, the number 2 machine. Bobby Bender, you see spinning just below the Daytona sign, and I think Logan Sturgeon might have called it in the middle of that one.
Well, we are going to finally get to our green-white checker here. Here in a couple of laps, so looks like we still got a couple potentials here, at least 1 green-white checker, maybe 2 here. Like I said, James Silvers is going to lead us back to the green flag here when we do restart this thing. Corin Smith behind him, Wesley Burke, James Kaufman, and George Jewell. So George Jewell is ahead. Somehow he's made the pass there here at Daytona. Not surprisingly, though, our 2 drivers are still going to restart this thing. Looks like side by side again there, Jacob.
Top 10, the same, but different. Jewell advancing on Evans. Chance Taylor advancing on Ryan Pendleton for that 9th spot to round out the top 10. Everybody else further behind, either caught up in that wreck, getting some repairs, or making it through with minimal damage. Jeremy Gardner is now in 13th.
Yeah, like I said, slowly sneaking his way up. I don't think Gardner, he probably can take or leave these plate tracks, but you know, if you could come away, I always look at this place, if I could come away with the top 10 and no incident points, anything like that, I'm always happy to come out of a plate track with a top 10. But you know, a lot of these guys are going to want that win, and for some of these drivers, it's their best chance. You can get it done on a plate track more so than any other track, so you get that win in your in situation, and you could just focus on the playoff tracks.
That's your golden ticket as we go through the rest of the races that we have in this season. You don't have a lot of opportunities for a race that'll be an equalizer like this one can be.
Man, if you guys haven't checked out Goat Locker Racing, I got to tell you what. Last season we were running 7 nights a week. This season we're still running 7 nights a week, but we're running 11 series. We only had 7 series. I think Eddie mentioned that we started with 5 series. We're up to 7 series, or now we're up to 11 series. Last season we had 7. This league has been growing. So many drivers want to be here. We got our 2 Premier Series. You're watching this one here tonight with the Next Gen on Friday night. We got the Truck Series. You guys got to be out here on V-Speed. Join the league. Check this place out. This community out here, we support our first responders and veterans. Just can't think. I'm so proud to be a part of this thing. Looking forward to racing here on Friday night. I don't know, Jacob, what's been your experience here with Goat Locker Racing?
My experience with Goat Locker has been one of a lot of give and take. I'm going to be the first to admit it. I am not a good driver when it comes to racing here, and I relish every opportunity that I can to try and drive around these guys and learn and be a better driver. It's helped, like driving these races that we have here has helped me get better at officials. It's helped me get better when I'm trying to learn, like figure out what to learn with the AI. And I can't think of a better place for a veteran like myself and yourself to be able to come here and feel like we're one big family.
Yeah, and this is great. A lot of people, they do many things. Maybe you go out and drink, you do other things, but this is just such great escapism to be out here, get behind the wheel of a race car. You're not stuck behind TV watching some boring numbing program on TV. You're out here actually racing a car, having fun with your fellow competitors, your fellow veterans, your fellow first responders, and now you're battling for a championship. It's just a great place to be, to just let the world go by and escape all the drama that happens outside.
Yes, indeed. It is a passion that I'm glad to share with a lot of people and almost everybody within this community. Pace car is in. James Silver's once again leading them to the stripe restart zone, and we are green once again for our first green-white checkered.
Wesley Burke gives that leader, the 4 car of James Silver's, a nice little bump there, sends him out front, moves it to the outside. Now I imagine we'll see James Silver's there maybe swing back and forth as he sees the run on the low side, going to try to defend that. We'll see if Wesley Burke tries to pull to his outside. So if we can get to the start-finish line, Wesley Burke's got a lot of damage on the front of that 04. So we might see these cars there. You see we got a car going to the outside there, seeing how slow that is, but that outside lane went nowhere.
It looked like Silvers was a little too far out, but Chance Taylor, George Jewell jump up top, and it looks like they're getting a little squirrely trying to save it. Get it straightened out up top, and we are under yellow once again. Massive crash through turns 3 and 4. James Kaufman, Jacob Ellingson, our pole sitter, the 44 of Travis Gilbert around, and we are going to go to the final green-white checkered of this race.
Another look at it here. So again, you can see Jeremy Gardner down there in the 57 in the outside lane. All 3 of those cars stuck together, and I think this is where that incident happens here. You can see up on the outside, got Corin Smith up there in the 10 car. And that car just, get the 27 gets into it, it looks like. Or did he self-spin there, Jacob? Couldn't quite see it.
It's too close to call. Jacob Ellingson was pushing toward the corner here, on board with the Lincoln Tech machine right here, going up towards the 25 of James Kaufman. Kaufman is coming down as Ellingson is trying to push the middle, and chaos ensues shortly after.
Everybody wanted that spot. Only one driver, no driver ended up with it. So tough break for all those cars. You see the 44 involved in another incident there. So 44 having a hard lap. It was our pole sitter. So connection issues, a little bit of contact early in the race. That's Travis Gilbert, last car on the lead lap. It's been a tough night for Travis. So maybe next week they'll have some better luck out there. But James Silver is finally going to take us to the last green-white checkered here. So this will be the last restart. Now the question is, are we going to race it, or are we going to have another caution? We're going to finish in a caution. That's going to be the question. So they need to make it to the white flag, and then we got a real race to the end there, a real shootout there. But have to wait and see how this all plays out.
If the wreck doesn't happen up front in the top 10, the precedent has always been we are going to race it out. So there is a good chance that anyone in our top 10 is going to be the winner here tonight. And speaking of, look who's sitting 7th.
Oh, yeah, I was noticing that he avoided that incident there. We looked back at that instant replay there. Gardner was down on the inside when all that drama unfolded on his outside, able to sneak by. So Gardner here on a plate track, and Gardner would surely like to tie this thing up on a plate track, and he really doesn't have anything to worry about. And that would be bad news for the field too. So don't want to give Gardner any extra help there out there on the track.
More important.
But I can tell you one guy. Sorry for interrupting, but I can tell you one guy, James Silvers. He would love to see that caution come out the second that green flag drops. Everybody else, not so much.
He's been sitting there, 20 laps now, just like pacing under caution and getting under green, is like leading the field and everything. He's just like, come on, let's go. I want to win this one.
Wesley Burke back there in the 04 machine there in second, just behind him. There's a lot of front end damage there. And I think, when the 04 pulls out, I think that's a big block and maybe just content of trying to follow the leader there. But it could create a lot of drama for every driver behind that 04.
Potentially, and depending on what lane Silver's picks is going to indicate where that car is going to line up. If I know Silver's from the previous restarts he's taken, he's going to want to try that outside, which would put Burke in front of the 77 of Tyler Evans.
Yeah, and that would definitely maybe hamper that inside line, but you're going to be dragging a lot of fast guys, so that 77 there, Tyler Evans, is going to be there, my pick of the night, going to be there on the outside if he does choose it. So if that 77 can get a nice push on the 4, then those two guys might be able to get out front, and that 77 might be able to sneak one out.
Well, we're going to find out right now. James Silver's your leader, following the pace car up to the start-finish line. And he is going to choose the inside. Wesley Burke going outside.
I think I like this call, and the reason is because he's going to force everybody down on the inside. If I'm correct with that damage on the 04 of Wesley Burke, it's going to hamper that outside line. So whoever is going to make a charge at this thing is going to have to maybe jump to the outside, but it might be what James Silvers does too. He's just got to drive with that mirror, and that's at this point with 2 laps to go, 3 laps to go with the green-white checker. You're doing a lot of mirror driving when you're up front like that.
Yes, indeed, and for good reason, because every single one of these drivers behind you that is in good condition has one thing in mind. I need to get to the front of this field, and I am going to win my way into the playoffs.
And we've seen this before. They take the gloves off, no pun intended for glove station there, but they take those gloves off to get this last thing, to get this win. So anything can happen, Carnage may ensue at the start-finish line like it often does here at Daytona. 9 cautions here tonight for the Premier Series. I don't think these guys were expecting that. We have a lot of new drivers out here, but those cars, I keep mentioning it, just seem really unstable out there.
Yeah, very unstable in the dirty air. The temperature doesn't help. And a lot of these guys have tried to put the time in. We got a lot of veterans out here, but there's a lot of newcomers from last season as well as this season in here as well. A total of 36 cars in the field here, and we got 22 running on the lead lap to try and save it all the way to the end of this one.
Well, like you said, we're about to find out that pace car is going to duck onto pit lane for the last time, hopefully. And James Silvers, we'll see if he can hang on to this thing. But a lot of times the leader at the restart does not win these things.
Pace car is in. James Silvers leads the field through the extreme scoring restart zone for our second green-white checkered at Daytona.
And he's away. You got that 77 trying to catch him. Wesley Burke not having the run that they wanted right now. 36 ducking in. That's George Jewell is going to make it a 3-car chain right now. Wesley Burke falling back. 92 up there. Timothy Stubblefield in that American flag scheme car out there. Jeremy Gardner currently running in 5th.
George Jewell jumps up top. Multiple cars caught up in the wreck. We're under yellow. Massive crash on the backstretch. James Silvers, your leader, at the yellow, going to come back around to the stripe, and this one is going to end under yellow, but with a new winner in the Goat Locker Racing Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series. White flag presented by Glove Station is out, but the guy that is going to take the checkered next time by is James Silvers.
Yeah, he's just got to make it to the end here. He does have to finish this thing, but I can't imagine anything happening. Of course, it's been a crazy night. tailing up to the back of the pace car. So, like you mentioned, this thing is going to finish under caution. But how about that? How about our top 5 there? Tyler Evans there finishing in second, George Jewell third. So those were our 2 picks tonight. So I guess I beat you by 1 position there. We're going to go back and take a look at this incident here.
Yes, indeed. Looking at the 9, Barrett Morton here on the inside. Just trying to take a look at what happened here. A lot of damage on the nose of Barrett Morton. He checks up and just gets bumped. He ends up going below the double yellow and gets hit from the top, turning him into the field here. And it's just heartbreaking from the run he's had all night up front.
Yeah, you always come to these tracks and you hope for just a decent finish, and you hope incidents like that don't happen to you, that it happens to the other guy. But Barrett Morton, one of those strong contenders out here tonight, back there is going to finish this. It looks like maybe 22nd. So, but back up front, we're looking at our race winner there, James Silvers, as you like to call it there, Jacob, has punched his ticket. As long as he makes 7 races in the regular season, he's punched his ticket to the playoffs here on race number 1 here at Daytona.
I apologize. I did not give due credit. James Silvers has 1 win in the Premier Next Gen Series. He won at Bristol, but he's going to get a win at the polar opposite. James Silvers crosses the line first at Daytona.
Congratulations to that driver out there. He's going to do that victory lap right now. We're going to talk to him here when this race is over. I'm sure he's ecstatic coming away from a plate track with a win at the start of the season. Kind of takes you can sit back and breathe a little bit.
Yes, indeed. That takes a huge weight off of his chest as we get towards the start of this season. He doesn't have to worry. He just got to worry about showing up. Well, once we're going to go to commercial, and then we're going to go through our unofficial results, and after that, we're going to talk with our winner and the rest of our podium. We will be right back with the Goat Locker Racing Cruisin Classics Next Gen Series.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
What a show we have witnessed here at Daytona. James Silvers, after both green-white checkers, race ending under caution, captures the win at Daytona International Speedway. Taking a look at your unofficial results, James Silvers comes away with the win. Tyler Evans in P2. George Jewell comes home in third after starting third, which is impressive. Timothy Stubblefield finishes fourth. Jeremy Gardner, after a lot of contact, finishes in the top 5. Chance Taylor in 14th. Wesley Burke in 7th. Ryan Pendleton, P8, Lucas Lyons in 9th, and Logan Threlkel rounding out your top 10.
P11 will be Cody Anderson. Timothy Williams will finish in 12th. Tyler Justice will finish 13th this point of night for him. Aston Asaro Nolan will finish 14th. James Kaufman will finish 15th. Bobby Bender, P16. Charles Abert, 17th. Michael Jones, 18th. Daniel Cunningham will finish P19. And Jamie Lipke rounds out your top 20.
21st is going to be Corinne Smith. 22nd, Barrett Morton. Doug Macedo, your first car a lap down in 23rd. Michael Kostick, P24. Alex Cruz in 25th. Travis Gilbert, our pole sitter for the night, in 28th. Logan Sturgeon finishes 29th. Claire Sisk, 30th.
Yeah, Samuel Yosef with the disappointing night will finish 31st. Brian Provo, 32nd. Jason Taylor will finish in the 33rd position. Noah Hogard, 34th. Alan Stafford will finish 35th, and Jamie Barkus didn't. I don't think Jamie Barkus took the flag tonight. So, but yeah, that rounds out your 36 car field for tonight's race.
Yes, indeed. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, what a way to hang in there, James Silvers. This is Jake Lanky in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. You were up front for a majority of the back half of that race, and I can only imagine what you were thinking as the caution after caution after caution came out. What was going through your head?
Well, I knew that they were going to keep wrecking, and I just wanted to make sure that I could get up front and be able to maintain the bottom because I knew that we actually ran a cup race last night, and we kind of figured that out that the top lane kind of stalls itself out a little bit if it don't have nobody that's really pushing. So, and I mean like pushing like bumper to bumper. I mean you got to have at least 4 or 5 cars, or it's not really going to work. So, during the race, yeah, I was just trying to maintain, and I did a pretty good job staying up front tonight. I was actually kind of surprised that I was able to do that, but yeah, just thankfully I had my teammates right there towards the end to help us out. So glad we could get the job done.
Yes, indeed. Had everything you needed, led the most laps tonight as well. Did you end up taking an early pit stop for that strategy call, or were you just content with running in the field?
Well, I can't remember when we pit, but I'm pretty sure I made 2 pit stops during the race. Uh, the second one, we were kind of skeptical about it, but I was like, if we ended up having 2 green white checkers, it was really going to help out. And sure enough, that we did. So it actually paid off pretty well tonight.
Yes, indeed. Taking a 29 lap stint all the way to the bank. Who do you have to thank for putting you on the top step of the podium?
Well, got to thank my crew chief too, Alex Penn. He does a great job helping everybody at Cornerstone Motorsports. I mean, he's just all around great dude. Like to thank all my teammates over there at Cornerstone too. They know who they are. There's a bunch of drivers I got them, but they're great boys. Love them to death. I guess I'd like to shout out y'all for putting on the broadcast. I mean, V Speed, y'all do an amazing job every week. Love the stuff. You guys keep that up. Like to shout out GLR. Great league. If y'all don't know about them, y'all got to check them out. Goat Locker Racing League. Then I'd like to shout out the sponsors. Let's see, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Cruisin Classics, and Nasties, the premier sponsor of the series. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, InVets, ATYL, and then the Cornerstone sponsors. Let's see, Aerial Professionals of WNC, Gigi's Restaurant of Waynesville, North Carolina, Jake's Junk Solutions, Mountain View Detailing, Mount Silver Supply Company for being on the car, Waynesville Tire, and White Squirrel Home Services. And then everybody back at Cornerstone, man, I'm just proud of them. Was trying to put on the great 2026, and that's a good way to start it. So we're going to keep that up.
Well, it takes a village to raise a king, and you're going to be raising the trophy here tonight. Congrats on the win. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, brother. Y'all have a good weekend.
Take care.
Well, Jacob, I think I'm going to be here with our second place finisher, Tyler Evans. Hey, this is Ken Huber in the booth with Jacob Lemke. Do you got a copy?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what a great race you had tonight. You were up 23 spots on the night. What was it like racing back there? We've seen a lot more cautions than we expected. The cars look super unstable out there tonight. Talk about that race.
man, when you got towards the back, it was really tough to get up and push people. Everybody's snaking all over the place back there, but up towards the front, the racing was pretty good.
Yeah, you did a great job. I don't know if you were watching the broadcast during it, but you were my pick on the night, and you almost had this thing.
Oh man, usually that's a death sentence.
Well, that's what I do here, this is Daytona. Almost anything is a death sentence. You never know when something's going to reach out and touch you. But you did a great job out here tonight. Next week we're going to be at Las Vegas. Looking forward to going back to the regular style NASCAR racing.
Oh yeah. I really like plate racing. We've had 3 plate races in 3 days. My butt hurts really bad. I'm ready for a little break and go back to regular racing next week.
I have to use that brake pedal a little bit. Well, who do you have to thank to get on this podium second place finish tonight?
Man, I want to start out huge shout out to George Jewell. He raced very clean tonight, helped me out every chance he had. Um, and he's not a teammate, so big thank you to him. Big thanks to all the guys over at Cornerstone Motorsports, especially James Silvers. We've been racing together for 5 years now, and you get that kind of chemistry pushing each other at these plate tracks, and that's what it takes to get up there and lead it. At one point, we were leading the pack by half a second, and you don't see that very often at plate tracks. Um, as far as our sponsors go, big shout out to Gigi's Restaurant, Jake's Junk Solutions, Mountain View Detailing, Mount Silver Supply Company, Waynesville Tire, and White Squirrel Home Services. I also want to give a big shout out to Jam Printing and Promotions, V Speed, Alexander's PCs, Cruisin Classics, GTR Simulations, and Nasties, as well as you guys up here in the booth. You guys killed it.
All right. Well, looking forward to seeing what you can do at Las Vegas next week. Good luck to you, and we'll see you then.
Don't expect to see me back up here next week.
I don't know, never count yourself out. Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. That was our second place finisher, James Silvers, and I have the pleasure of talking with our third place finisher, George Jewell. This is Jake Lanky in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Jacob?
I am doing all right, and I imagine you're doing pretty well as well. That's a podium for you, sir. Take us through it.
Back to the front. We were trying to do fuel, and lanes sometimes went, and other lanes sometimes didn't go. So you kind of luck of the draw, I guess, on that one.
Yes, indeed.
But it
Speaking
was,
of luck,
but it was a good race.
Yep. Speaking of luck of the draw, you were my pick to win tonight, and I almost regretted it a little bit when we saw you getting squirrely there. But I am
Yeah.
glad that I picked you because you kept it up front, you kept it clean, and you kept it respectable, which is what a lot of your competitors have to say. In fact, Tyler Evans just left the booth giving you a kudos for racing super clean out there, and it is very appreciated in the Premier Series, especially.
Yeah, I don't come out here to wreck anybody. I come out here to have fun. Me and Tyler had our little grudge. We talked about it. Hey, we're good now. So um, it's it's done and over with, and we're just going to move on to the next race. I'm pretty sure we'll butt heads eventually down the road, but at least now we can talk about it.
Yes, indeed. It's very good to see that 36 machine back up on the podium. Who do you have to thank for getting there?
I'd like to thank iRacing, Goat Locker for one, MK Fire Design, SimMotion, Harpoon Designs, Zach Graphics, and of course, Cruisin Classics for always being on board in this series. I really appreciate that coming on board and letting us come out here and have a little fun. You guys up in the booth in V Speed, I appreciate that much, and I can't wait for another interview. That's what I'd like to see.
And I would love to see that as well. Thank you for your time, sir. Congrats on the podium. We'll see you at Vegas.
All right, thank you much. You guys have a good evening.
Well, Ken, we made it.
We made it through Daytona, off to Las Vegas next week. I actually am really looking forward to getting off the plate tracks, getting down to what I consider more real racing, a little bit more skill involved. We start hitting these smaller tracks. It's going to be a lot of fun out here. I haven't called a next-gen race in quite some time, so it's going to be a lot of fun calling that race with you here next week.
Indeed. It was super fun calling you, following every step of the way watching this one play out, and we ended up getting a good run to the end. It ended under yellow, but it wasn't. It was close toward the finish once the leaders started sorting out. For
You can't
everybody
say
here,
it wasn't exciting. I'm sorry for interrupting you there, but you can't say it wasn't exciting.
cannot. For everybody here at V Speed, I'm Jacob Lanke. I'm with my boy Ken Huber, Eddie Smith in production, and Dougie Beard providing the cameras. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week in Las Vegas.